Sometimes the greatest power doesn't come from money, titles, or reputation. Sometimes it hides behind ragged shoes, tired eyes, and silence that speaks louder than words. One late afternoon in a bustling city, the well-known Titan Auto Garage was struggling with a problem that had shaken their pride. In the center of the floor stood a Lamborghini Huracan, its hood wide open, wires exposed like veins, and its dead engine mocking the mechanics who had tried and failed for 3 long days to fix it. The garage had always claimed to be the best in town, but this machine had defeated them completely. Derek, the youngest mechanic, was known for his sharp tongue and arrogance. He kept bragging about how close he was to solving the issue, though in truth, he had no clue. Mr. Cole, the owner, stood with arms crossed, frustrated and furious. Each passing day without a solution meant humiliation. Sophia, the only woman in the team, was smarter than most and had an instinctive eye for detail. But even she couldn't solve the puzzle of why the Lamborghini refused to come back to life. Just as the team was arguing about their failure, the garage door creaked open and a stranger stepped inside. He looked like he belonged anywhere but in a luxury car workshop. His clothes were torn, his shoes cracked, his face marked by exhaustion and hunger. His gray-streaked hair was unkempt, his hands rough, but his eyes carried a strange light. Derek immediately wrinkled his nose in disgust. "This isn't a soup kitchen," he sneered loudly, making the others laugh. "You're lost, old man. Go beg somewhere else." But the stranger ignored the laughter. His gaze went straight to the Lamborghini, as if he could see into its very soul. He walked closer, examined it quietly, and then spoke in a steady voice. "I don't want money. I don't want pity. Give me a plate of food, and I'll fix your car." The mechanics burst out laughing again. Cole smirked, shaking his head in disbelief. "You? Do you even know what you're looking at? This car is worth more than your entire life." But the man didn't flinch. His tone remained calm. "I know exactly what I'm looking at, and I know exactly what's wrong with it." The room went silent for a moment. Sophia's eyes locked on him. She sensed something in his voice, certainty, not arrogance. She stepped forward and asked softly, "Then tell me, what's wrong with it?" The stranger leaned closer, touched a few parts with his rough fingers, and listened to the faint idle. Then he said, "The fuel pressure sensor is failing. The engine shuts down at high revs. It's not mechanical, it's electronic." Everyone froze. For 3 days, none of them had thought of that. Derek's grin faded instantly. "How the hell would you know that?" he demanded. The stranger answered simply, "By the sound, by the hesitation. Machines talk if you listen." Cole wasn't ready to believe. His reputation was already cracking. He smirked and pulled out his phone. "All right, let's make this fun. If you're right, I'll give you $20 and a sandwich. If you're wrong, you leave and never come back. I'll even record it and show the world." The stranger looked him directly in the eyes and replied, "Deal." With quiet confidence, he walked over to the diagnostic machine. His hands moved like they had done it 1,000 times before, quick and precise. Within seconds, the screen lit up with an error code, P0294, fuel pressure sensor fault. The silence that followed was heavy and sharp. Sophia's lips parted in awe. Derek dropped the wrench he was holding. Cole's face turned pale, his smirk gone. "You were right," whispered Sophia, barely believing it. But the stranger didn't smile or celebrate. He simply stepped back, his calmness louder than any victory. Then his eyes moved to the corner of the garage where a BMW X5 sat abandoned. He pointed at it and said, That car. You told the customer it needs a new engine. You were wrong. The problem is the high-pressure fuel pump. $1,200. Not an engine. Everyone froze again. Cole's jaw tightened in anger. Derek muttered, "That's impossible." But Sophia rushed to check, and within minutes confirmed his words. The customer had almost been cheated out of $14,000. The balance of power in the room shifted completely. The man they had mocked was now standing taller than all of them. "Who are you?" Sophia asked with curiosity burning in her voice. The stranger hesitated, pain flashing in his eyes. Finally, he whispered, "No one." That night, Sophia couldn't stop thinking about him. She searched online for the exact terms he had used: sensor failures, error codes, specific problems. Each time she discovered that his answers were accurate, not guesses. They weren't things any street beggar would know. They were the kind of knowledge only someone with years of experience in high-performance cars would carry. She knew then he wasn't ordinary. The next morning, Sophia arrived early and found him waiting outside. He looked like he hadn't moved all night, just sitting there silently. She brought him coffee. "You've worked on supercars before," she said firmly. "Not just any cars, machines worth millions. Who were you, really?" But he didn't answer. He only stared at the rising sun, his face shadowed by memories. Days passed, and rumors spread across the city. People whispered about the mysterious beggar who had humiliated Titan Auto Garage. Customers grew suspicious of Cole and Derek, and some stopped coming. Business began to suffer. Desperate, Cole confronted the stranger. "Work for me," he said. "I'll pay you, feed you, give you a place to stay. Just don't embarrass us anymore." But the man shook his head. "I don't want your money. I only wanted food." Derek exploded in anger. "Then why did you come here at all?" The stranger's eyes darkened. "Because machines are the only thing that still makes sense to me." One evening, a retired journalist came to the garage after hearing the story. When she saw the stranger, her eyes widened in recognition. His name was Ethan Cross. Years ago, Ethan had been one of the most brilliant race car engineers in the country, a man whose designs had broken speed records. But tragedy had shattered his life. His wife and daughter were killed in a highway accident involving a car he himself had modified. The guilt consumed him. Ethan abandoned everything: his career, his wealth, his home, and disappeared into the streets, carrying only his grief. When Sophia learned the truth, her heart sank. The genius they had mocked was not just a drifter. He was a man broken by unbearable pain. The next time Ethan entered the garage, the laughter was gone. The same men who had insulted him now lowered their eyes in respect. Derek said nothing. Cole, humbled, only nodded. Sophia, who had always sensed something deeper, greeted him with a quiet smile. Ethan stayed briefly, fixed what needed fixing, accepted a simple meal, and disappeared again into the streets. He asked for no money, no reward, no recognition, only silence. Yet his story remained. Titan Auto Garage soon saw more customers than ever before, not because of their skills, but because people whispered about the nameless legend who had appeared from nowhere, revealed their flaws, and vanished. In truth, it was Ethan's ghost that gave the garage its reputation back. Somewhere on the streets, Ethan Cross continued walking, carrying his silence like armor, hiding his genius behind rags, his heart broken but still beating. He had already lost everything, and when a man has nothing left to lose, no humiliation can break him, and no pride can defeat him. They had mocked a beggar and discovered a master. They had dismissed a drifter and uncovered a legend. But as quickly as he had appeared, Ethan vanished again. No one knew where he would go next, whose pride he would shatter, or whose life he would change. Some believed he was cursed, others believed he was chosen. But Sophia, standing at the garage window watching him disappear down the street, believed something else, that sometimes the most broken people carry the strongest power. And Ethan Cross, the ghost of forgotten racetracks and broken dreams, was proof that legends never truly die.